Today on My News Network, I'm your host, Jonathan Miller. Thanks for stopping by the Jonathan Miller Show. I'm your host, Jonathan Miller. So what the heck happened in Toronto with this crazy motherfucker driving this van? So I guess ABC, CNN, and World News are all reporting about this crazy psycho in Toronto, Canada, who rented a van and mowed down 10 people on a sidewalk going about 16 blocks. Here's a couple of clips, what the news has to say.
That deadly attack in Toronto, where a man drove his van onto a busy sidewalk in the middle of the day. Here's what we know right now. At least 10 people are dead, 15 injured. The 25-year-old driver is in custody after a standoff with police during which he begged to be shot. ABC's Tom Yamas is on the scene in Toronto with the latest. Good morning, Tom.
George, good morning to you. This is Yonge Street just behind me where this all happened. It remains closed at this hour. Canada's police call this one of the busiest streets in the entire country. And yesterday, a man in a rental van turned it into a killing field. This attack has shaken Canada to its core. And what may be most chilling, police still aren't exactly sure why this 25-year-old man went on his rampage. Chaos on the streets of Toronto. A rental van turned into a murder weapon. This new surveillance video shows it barreling down the sidewalk.
I just saw the guy go flying and I heard the bang, and the van just went right into him, plowed right into him.
The van plowing through pedestrians on a busy street during lunchtime, killing at least 10, injuring 15 others, some now fighting for their lives. So you're at a Starbucks, you look outside, and you see people getting mowed down?
Yeah, I saw 4 people die right in front of me. They were wanting to go across the street to the mall, and their life just ended right there.
Eyewitnesses describing the panic as the van swerved across multiple lanes of traffic and up onto sidewalks, hitting people across 16 blocks.
It's really bad out there. I couldn't believe what I seen, man. It was like, oh man, everybody, all these people on the streets getting hit one by one.
So this guy is obviously crazy, so I guess we need more background checks for driver's licenses. Or something.
He just went on the sidewalk. He just started hitting everybody, man. He hit every single person on the sidewalk. Anybody in his way he would hit. The bus stop, everything got shattered. There was a lady in there that I saw. I just stopped and I looked and I went after it again. All I see is just crumbling up one by one, one by one. Holy God, I've never seen a scene like this in my life, I swear.
There was bodies on the ground in front of the Mill Last Men where the sidewalk is, clearly way into the to the sidewalk.
We just were witnessing of the horrific scene, all the dead bodies on the floor. So very sad day for Toronto. I mean, this is unbelievable.
We are just to the side of Yonge Street where this massacre actually occurred. It went on for several very long blocks, and investigators say they'll be here for several days working to unravel this mystery, and motive just one part of it. As you mentioned, we are expecting the court appearance for the suspect to begin at any moment, and the key thing that we expect to learn here in the coming hour or so as things get underway is what charges that suspect will face. It's alleged that he rented this van and then used it to mow down a multitude of pedestrians, hunting them in a swerving, careening, high-speed attack, traveling more than a mile before being taken into custody. The suspect has been identified as Alec Manasian, a 25-year-old from a Toronto suburb of Richmond Hill. 10 lives were claimed, at least 15 people injured. The brutal force of the large van, leaving some dead at the scene and others fighting for their lives.
So they finally have this guy in custody, and hopefully now they're going to fry his ass because he has, I believe, 13 separate counts of attempted murder. Good job.
The suspect accused of driving a rental van into pedestrians on a busy Toronto street is going to appear in court today. He killed 10 people, 15 were injured. Joining us now are two people who witnessed the carnage, Diego DeMatos and Christian Ali. Gentlemen, sorry to meet you this way, but thank you very much for helping us understand this situation better.
Morning, Chris. Welcome.
Morning, Chris. Diego, let's start with you. You witnessed the van actually hitting people on your way to the gym. What did you see? What did you make of it?
Well, it was just a regular Monday afternoon. It was a beautiful day, so we're going to the gym and slowly looking for a parking spot. I look over and I see this van coming down really fast, and all of a sudden it hits two people across the street. I was going north and the van was coming south. So it hits two people. It was so fast, it threw one of the ladies all the way back into the building, and then one of the guys forward into the pavement, and then just kept driving off. And then at first I thought it was a hit and run. I had a friend in the car with me, and they said, "Oh my gosh, that guy just hit two people," and kept driving. And then I think he must have hit a car or a pole. I don't know what he hit, and then went back on the sidewalk and stopped. And then people start screaming, "It was that truck! It was that truck! It was that truck!" And people start panicking at this point because there was blood gushing out of the guy's head, and the lady was bleeding really bad as well. And then I slowly kept driving because there was a lot of car behind me. And as I drive a few meters up north, there's about maybe 4 or 5 bodies again on the floor, and people screaming, crying, and looking panicked. There's broken bus shelter, garbage cans, everything on the pavement in the middle of the street. And I keep driving a little bit more, and then I see all this panic and this guy asking for help. And then I pull my car over to the side and run over to him in the middle of the street and try to help him by doing CPR on this guy. And but he was dead. So he basically just passed away in our arms. Sorry, I get emotional just seeing his face again in front of me. So we waited for the police and the paramedics and firefighters. Everybody came. We backed off a little bit and waited to speak with them. And as we were waiting, a lot more police started to show up, and then they started removing everybody from the scene. It was like a movie scene. It was like a war zone. We couldn't believe what I was seeing, what was happening in Toronto. So we waited a little bit longer, and then after that, we got back in the car and we started driving again. And as we're driving slowly up, we see more dead bodies on the floor, and people that just in pure panic and crying and screaming and calling 911. And this all happened in maybe 9 blocks. I don't know how far it was, but it was a long stretch of road. And it just seemed like he was going on and off onto the sidewalk, on and off, on and off, on and off. And I tried to help the guy, but it was a little bit too late.
Well, look, you did what you could. We're showing video that you shot because you wanted to make sure that there was proof of what was being done there so you could be helpful. You got out of your car and you did what you could. And that says something about you, and thank you for sharing that part of it. I know this is something that you never wanted to happen and you never wanted to witness. Now, Christian, when you came upon it, you weren't seeing it in real time. What did you think you were seeing?
Well, I wasn't too sure what was happening. I was heading northbound, and it appears I approached the scene just minutes after everything. I passed a gentleman who was unconscious at the side of the road. He had no shoes on. There was a bunch of car debris, but no car. So I thought maybe it was a hit and run. There were people around him just completely confused. I continued north, and probably about 10, 20 seconds later, there's another gentleman on the other side of the road. So that's a good 60, 70 feet. And there was a police officer leaning over, embracing his neck, talking to him. He was moving, so I could tell he was alive. And I thought, there's a lot of bad accidents in just such a short space of time short area. And then about 10 seconds later, I happened upon a lady, and she was face down on the sidewalk, and surely deceased at that point. And it started slowly, just started quickly coming together. It was surreal. And then probably about 10 seconds after that's when I got to Yonge and Finch, and there were probably about 20-30 people standing around, 4 or 5 people on the sidewalk, a number of pedestrians frantically performing CPR on some of those people. There's a lot of blood. And
then again, this could all just be fake news.
Pronounced dead on arrival. We currently have 5 patients in critical condition and 3 in serious condition. For members of the public who may be concerned that their loved ones were involved in this incident, you may contact our Family Information and Support Center. The telephone number is 416-480-4940. That's again 416-480-4940.
First of all, I'd just like to say, what kind of sick fuck does something like this? Who rented a van and mowed down a bunch of people on the sidewalk going about 16 blocks. And it looks like I've got mail. So if you have mail or you have a question, don't hesitate to send it over. It could be about you or me or anything, and we'll see if we can answer your question. Then again, this could just be fake news. Till next time, I'm Jonathan Miller.